Financial Experts is brought to you by Vermonti's. Craving something cheesy, crispy, and unforgettably delicious? Say hello to Vermonti's Pizza, where every slice is a love letter to the Green Mountain State. From classic pepperoni to our legendary mac and cheese pizza, we're serving up bold flavors you won't find anywhere else. Order online and get 20% off your first order with promo code Vermonti20. That's VERMONTY. Hit us up on Instagram at Vermonti's_Vermont Eats to see what's hot and fresh right now. Monty's Pizza, homegrown, handmade, and hella good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Potential Experts. Let me be the first to wish you a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, a happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. We have a diverse range of listeners. We have confirmed that our listeners come from a wide variety of countries. So you know what? We're going to be super inclusive. Speaking of coming from a wide variety of countries, we have Mr. McPherson back from Guatemala. Happy to have him here. Missed this idiot, and we are very, very pleased to have him in person as opposed to out of the country. Ben, thanks for being back. Appreciate it.
So happy.
You're so happy.
So happy.
So happy. We're going from 70-degree weather to 35-degree dark and gray gloominess. Mr. McPherson could not be more pleased. We're going to take you through some NFL talk. It was a big week. Playoff races are heating up. Ethan and Brandon are going to do a majority of the analysis on that. And then it's going to turn to kind of a full encompassing participation where we're going to go through some naughty and nice lists. Ethan, myself, and Ben are going to focus primarily on the NBA. Brandon, I assume you're going to focus primarily on the NHL for those?
I got a little bit of NHL, yeah.
A little bit of NHL. Okay. So National Sports Podcast, we got to get our hockey talk in there. Is there a baseball fact we can give so we can say that we talked baseball? Murakami signed with the Chicago White Sox, thus and confirming he will never win anything. Ben, you got something?
Yankees signed Blackburn. Big moves. Cashman's on fire this offseason.
Paul Blackburn re-upped with the Yankees.
And I should add that the Red Sox traded for Wilson Contreras from St. Louis.
Which is wild because I thought Carlos Narvaez should have been an all-star this year and had a really good year. So the fact that they're just moving on from him is strange to me. Ethan, do you have any input on that?
Contreras doesn't really play catcher anymore.
He's
More
first
base DH. First base DH, yeah. I don't think he caught a single game last year, so they clearly don't trust Cassis, which I don't blame them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. So that's our baseball talk for the week. Let's go ahead and jump right into the NFL. As I stated before, really heating up. We were blessed with one of the best Thursday night games, maybe even a game of the year candidate. Final score, Seahawks 38, Rams 37. Miraculous win by the Seahawks, who at one point were trailing 30-14. Ethan, I'm going to turn it to you. Does this solidify the Seahawks as the team to be in the NFC, or is it still the Rams despite that defeat?
A great question, Pags. I still think it's the Rams. Tough game on the road, Thursday night football, short week. One of your best playmakers is out. Despite all that, Matthew Stafford still threw for over 450 yards. Puka Nacua had over 200 yards through the air as well. This offense is so electric. Pags, you said it in the group chat to the fantasy gurus that Sam Darnold would be working at Burger King if he didn't have Jackson Smith and Jigba. Seattle's run game was explosive. Kenneth Walker looked great for the first time all season on Thursday night. I don't really think that's sustainable in my opinion. I think the Rams are just a more well-rounded team. But gutsy call by Mike McDonald for going for 2 at the end, and obviously a little bit of controversy at the end with that play, but Seattle ended up winning that game, so good on them. But I do think the Rams are still the team to beat out of the NFC. Brandon, what do you think?
Like you always say, you're going to go down swinging, and I really respect a coach that plays to win and that doesn't play not to lose. With the fact that the Rams defeated the Seahawks a few weeks ago, the game that Darnold threw 4 picks, and it was clear that the Seahawks needed to get that split in order to have a chance, honestly put themselves in the driver's seat for the number 1 overall seed. And it was clear that a tie wasn't going to help them, and their best opportunity was to win the game right then and there, which I really respect. Brandon, same question to you. Response?
Do think also maybe the team to beat out in the NFC is from the NFC West, and it might not be either of those two teams.
You a Frisco guy?
They look electric right now. Purdy threw 5 touchdowns last night. McCaffrey is at his peak once again. And they have a well-rounded defense. Kyle Shanahan is one of the top 5 coaches in the NFL. It's possible that San Francisco could be the favorites.
Honestly, I don't hate the call. Brandon, same question to you. Is it the Rams? Is it the Seahawks? Or is it secret option C? Any of the other teams out there?
I think it is a little bit of secret option C, but I do think it's whoever comes out of the NFC West, because realistically, those teams are all, talented teams, gonna put up a really solid fight for whoever they're playing at the very least. And this is the kind of game that Sam Darnold being the quarterback of the Seahawks just gives you a little bit of a red flag. And it's not that he's been terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, he hasn't been as good as he was last year in Minnesota, but he's still a quarterback that you look at and you say he's a competent starter. But you look at what the Rams have and you say, well, you've got the MVP candidate in Matt Stafford and a team that's just been buzzing all year. This is kind of team that you're on par with in paper, and given the fact you have the MVP, you should be taking care of business. They weren't able to get it done. Seahawks come away with a win, obviously. But again, how many times have we talked about how deep the NFC is? All, 3 teams out of the NFC West have legitimate shots at not just making the playoffs, but being the number 1 seed. That's the most stacked division in football. I mean, I know we went in the year saying it was going to be the NFC North, but it's really the West. And so I think it's really just whoever comes out of there is going to be the favorite to win the NFC and go to the Super Bowl to represent them. But what I really do want to talk about here, that 2-point conversion, that Charbonnet 2-point conversion, do you guys think that was legit, or should that have been called dead? Because personally, I look at that and I say, I know that on the replay, you can't tell when the refs blow the whistle, but the refs blew the whistle before he picked up the ball. I mean, the play is dead right there at the spot. Should not have been a 2-point conversion. Again, I just think that going back and having revisionist history on a play like that after the whistle's blown, we see this all the time where guys, drop, or, they get an interception and they start running it back and the whistle gets blown, play gets blown dead when they're halfway on the return. It's the same kind of play to me there. You got, when the whistle's blown dead, the play's over. You can't say, okay, he picked up the ball in the end zone, so that we should count that as a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, as an athlete, you're taught to play to the whistle. And when you hear that whistle blow, it's really, really hard to then have something that occurred after the whistle count against you if you're the Rams. So I definitely hear what you're saying. I was actually not aware that the whistle blew in that play live. I was watching it. I think the Knicks were playing that night. So yeah, we played Indiana that night. So I had the sound on the Knicks game on my phone, and I had the sound off on the TV with the Thursday Night Football on, so I was unaware that the whistle had blown to signal an incomplete pass. So given that information, that actually changes my viewpoint on it. I was originally going to say, no, I disagree with you, Brandon. The play was a backwards lateral, but with the whistle having been blown, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one then. Ethan?
Listen, I didn't see the play. I just heard it was controversial, so you guys covered it well.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and move forward. So from talking about the Seahawks to a former Seattle Seahawk, Kalen Metcalf. I'm pretty sure that's what DK stands for. I'm not just making that up. I'm 99% sure it's DeKalen. DK Metcalf struck a fan, Detroit Lions fan, in the stands. He then proceeded to claim that that fan called him the N-word and his mother the C-word. Upon further review of a fan filming that was like 2 people away from the incident, none of that happened. So it's just DK being a head case. Brandon, what do you make of this?
Isn't this why they didn't want George Pickens? Because George Pickens was a head case? Well, congratulations. You traded one away and brought in another. And I don't think it's a shocker to anybody. I think anybody looking at DeKalen Metcalf is surprised by that. But again, this is really going to cost the Steelers. I mean, yeah, they've clinched Mike Tomlin's winning season, keeping that streak alive. But what are you going to do? I mean, going forward, your next 2 games are without Metcalf because he's been suspended and he's going to get fined a ton of money. And I don't know what his contract situation is, but I did see something saying that voids like $40 million in guarantees in his contract. So that's just kind of wild right there, that one punch is going to cost him $40 million guaranteed, or potentially cost him that anyway. But just wild stuff to see in the stands. In no way, shape, or form, is that acceptable from an NFL player to be going up in the stands punching a guy? And like I said, now the Steelers are going to have to play the next 2 games without their top wide receiver, and hopefully they make the playoffs because it's not a lock for them at this point in time.
Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what the fan says. Be the bigger person. Like, everybody knows who you are. Your cameras are on you. I understand in the moment could be heated, but you got to know as a professional athlete that you can't be punching players. He's lucky he only got suspended for 2 games, or fans, excuse me. He's lucky he only got suspended for 2 games. Kind of reminded me of when Marcus Smart was in college and he whacked a fan. They kind of gave him a big right hook. DK didn't really get solid contact, but still the intention was there. Great game, by the way, though. Definitely OPI at the end. After watching it a couple times, I definitely agree with the call. Detroit's in trouble, man. They don't have any room for error at this point. They're barely still alive. Doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs, which is really surprising because they were my pick coming out of the NFC this year.
And I want to throw in there too, but before you move us along here, Pags, I just want to say some of our younger fans, I know we have a fairly young audience here. I would just like to say for them, you're gonna have to go back and Google this one. DK Metcalf has nothing on Mike Milbury in his shoe. That's all I'm saying.
No,
Nothing on Mike Milbury.
no.
Oh, you could Google Latrell Sprewell too. Old basketball player.
Pete with PJ Carlissimo.
Nick Legend, but he had some bumpy going on before that.
Mike
How about-
Milbury is a Bruin player that went into the stands at Madison Square Garden and beat up a Ranger fan with his own shoe. So
With like his
no, with
the
fan
fan
shoe,
like-
which is like
that's
most
why.
emasculating.
These kids know about Malice at the Palace?
If you don't know Balance at the Palace, guys, look up Pacers Pistons. You can
I
just
mean,
look at Malice at the
there's a whole
Palace.
documentary on
tell.
Netflix about it. It's a good one.
It ruined some careers for sure. Changed the trajectory of a lot of teams and careers.
Ron
Yeah, don't
Artest is going
don't
into the crowd wailing people.
Yeah.
Or you could watch go watch a Thunder game and you'll see Shea just gets beat up on every play. It's borderline abuse what happens to him out there.
Absolutely. I mean, he gets to the line like 13 times a game, so he has to. He has to get abused.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. Only two more NFL topics to cover, but they're both big ones because it's about some teams staking their claim as possibly legitimate candidate playoff contenders. I don't know so much about the first one, but the Panthers defeat the Buccaneers and take the lead in the NFC South. Ethan, is this Panthers victory more about the rise of the Panthers themselves or the downfall of the Buccaneers as the season has progressed?
I think it's option B. Earlier in the year, the Buccaneers were a favorite to come out of the NFC. They were looking great. Baker Mayfield was an MVP candidate. You looked over to Larry on Sunday and said, man, this offense stinks. And they do. They don't have any chemistry. I think Evans and Godwin coming back kind of ruined the flow, and same thing with Bucky Irving. So they haven't had health all season, nor have they had like the time to really mesh as a group. But congrats to the Panthers, because I thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in football this year. They now have 8 wins. They have a chance to win the NFC South and make the playoffs and likely lose in the first round at home. But who knows? Bryce Young could be a little piece. I don't know. But
Could be a
maybe in
piece.
3 years, he's probably a backup. They're doing good things down in Carolina. Solid win for them. They don't deserve to make the playoffs at this point.
No, but we've seen this story time and time again where there's usually like once a year probably where like a team, whether it be the NFC or the AFC, finds their way in at 9-8, even an 8-9 kind of situation. I mean, we've seen those teams go on to win. I mean, the Seahawks in the Beastquake game, they were 7-9 and beat, I think, an 11-5 New Orleans Saints team. So I mean, you get that game at home, you feel confident, you just won a division, you never know what can happen. Brandon, same question to you. More about the Bucks downfall, more about the Panthers rise.
I actually think it's a combination of both. I think the Panthers have been a scrappy team all year long, and it took them a little while to get going, but definitely a very scrappy team that's ready to put up a fight on anybody, especially with Tet McMillan being as good as he has been this year. A big reason for that, and the run game with Rico Dowdle, the offense has some talent there. Not enough that it scares you and says we can't beat this team, but they definitely have the pieces to be competitive week in and week out. And then Tampa, like we've said, they just haven't looked the same since they went on that run. They're looking a lot like my Dick Dixon fantasy team, starting off real hot and then can't win a game to save their lives down the stretch to make the postseason. That's just the fact of the matter. The Buccaneers just have not been good enough, and Baker hasn't played the same way he did early in the season. We're talking about him being an early MVP candidate, and he's been good, but he hasn't played to that level since those early games. I really think that this is going to be one of those first teams out kind of situation, but I'm telling you right now, I'm taking the Panthers to win that division right now. They look like the best team. I still wouldn't trust them in the playoffs, but again, scrappy team with a little bit of fight in them.
Carolina, I also want to add, does have like something very rare, and that's a shutdown corner. And only very few teams have that. That's Tam with Denver, Derek Stingley with Houston, Christian Gonzalez in New England, and J.C. Horn in Carolina. Those 4 are probably the best corners in football right now.
Horn and Surtain came from the same draft class too. J.C. Horn from?
South Carolina.
There we go. Brandon, Pat Surtain from?
North Carolina.
No.
Bama.
Brandon,
Yeah,
you can be faster.
it's Alabama.
Brandon,
I wouldn't have had that one.
faster, Brandon. Faster. Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Let's go ahead and move on. Okay. When we did contenders and pretenders, I remember saying, well, this team got brought up. This should be a quick one because every single person here should say pretender. And if you don't, I question your football knowledge. I think it's time to take the Jacksonville Jaguars seriously. Ethan, there are not 32 quarterbacks better than Trevor Lawrence. And
There's not.
no, there's really not. And I understand your gripe with him, but he has been balling the last month and change.
He has
And
been.
going into Mile High and laying the whooping on him that they did says a lot about a team. So, Brandon, I will start with you. Do the Jacksonville Jaguars have an opportunity to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl?
I wouldn't rule it out, but I'm also not counting it. So I was actually just pulling up a playoff bracket right here, just so we could kind of take a look at, if things ended today, how do things stand? And the Jaguars are the 3 seed if they ended today with a really solid 11-4 record, which I don't think anybody would have seen coming. This is giving me a little bit of an ilk of that Blake Bortles year when in whatever year was it they lost to Brady in the AFC title game. But I have a little bit more faith in this team than I did that one because it felt like that team kind of came out of nowhere. And I'm not saying that this year's Jaguars team didn't do the same thing, but I feel like there's something that they've been building there where, they've been progressing to this point. It's not like they just came out of the blue and just won a random number of games and made a championship game. This feels like they've been building something over the last few years and they're finally starting to reap the benefits of that. Like I said, if the playoffs ended today, they're matched up against Buffalo going into Jacksonville. I would take Buffalo in that matchup, but I don't think it's a given. I really think that the Jaguars could give them a fight. I think it's a 50-50 matchup, to be honest. At this point, you might as well put them in as a lock, though, for the playoffs. I don't think anyone in the AFC South is going to really be fighting them off at this point, like I said, with that 11-4 record.
Well, they have clinched. So, yes, you can definitely do that. Ethan.
My bad.
Ethan, same question to you. The Jacksonville Jaguars represent the AFC in the Super Bowl?
It's hard not to take them serious at this point, and everybody thought Denver was the best team in the AFC, and they went into Denver and, quite frankly, weren't even in the same breath as them. Won by 2 touchdowns, and Trevor Lawrence has been balling, like you said, 12 touchdowns over his last 4 games, no interceptions. He has 7 rushing touchdowns this year, too, which was actually a little bit more than I would have expected. And they have a good pass rusher, Josh Hines-Allen, as well as a defense that's held up well. Are they going to come out of the AFC? My gut says no. Do they have a chance? Absolutely.
You had a comment to make on this?
Yeah, so they're going to be on the road first round?
No.
They'll have a home game first
They
round.
should win the South, so they'll be home.
Oh, wow. I don't know a lot about football, but one of my favorite things about it is the whole weather thing, how it's like, it's cold now, it's the winter. If they have to go on the road, say they make it out of round 1, how are they as a cold weather team coming from Florida with a guy like Trevor Lawrence?
Brandon, you seem to want to chime in on that.
Yeah, just looking at what they'd be, realistically, it doesn't matter what they do. They're probably going somewhere cold for that second game. Let's assume that all the, the top seeds win out. So that would take Houston, Buffalo, and the Chargers out. You're still looking at Denver, New England, and Pittsburgh. Like, the only real warm weather options they got there is Houston and the Chargers. Chargers maybe beat Pittsburgh. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know how the seeding would wind up looking like if they win, but I'm not putting Houston to beat New England, that's for sure. So, Los Angeles winning out and then somehow winding up with that matchup, that's really their best shot at playing the second round, not in a cold weather city. After that, they got no shot pretty much.
You have to give them credit, though. They went into Denver, and I don't know what the temperature was in Denver, but it's Denver in December. I can't imagine it was very warm.
I got a friend who lives in Denver. She was golfing this week. It was in the 50s. So Denver's sneaky warm
It'd
right
be pretty
now.
warm there.
All right, Jags are frauds. That's what we've established because Ben has a friend in Denver who is golfing. So Jags are officially frauds.
I would also like to say that I do think this past weekend's game against Denver says a lot more about the Broncos than it does against the Jaguars. Like you said, Pags, it really kind of put them on the front seat as far as everyone's paying attention to what Jacksonville's doing now. Broncos, that's kind of game that if you're going to establish yourself as the top seed in the AFC, you got to take care of business in that game.
I would agree. Gentlemen, anything else we want to talk about NFL-wise? Going once. going twice. Cold. All right. A little short. It'll probably be a little bit of a shorter episode today. No big deal. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little under the weather.
And it's Christmas week. Do you guys see our outfits? I know it's a podcast, but two of us dressed
Hey,
up.
this is on YouTube.
Wait, we're on YouTube now.
We we are on YouTube.
We've been on YouTube, Ben.
I didn't know we were.
Yeah, I say we've been on YouTube for like basically since we launched this whole rebrand.
It's called Potential Experts.
Yeah.
How did you not know about this?
You're not very good at communicating, Brandon.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and move forward. So we're going to talk a little NBA, little NHL. We already did our NFL talk. We did our MLB talk. We actually talked more about the MLB than I thought we would. Normally, we just one little side fact, but we actually talked for a moment about the Red Sox catching DH situation. So let's go ahead. We're going to do some NBA/NHL naughty and nice lists. And then we're going to go ahead and get into our preliminary all-star teams, what we're predicting is going to happen. And then we will end with Pag's picks.
Christmas wishes, too.
Oh, I forgot Christmas wishes. Ben, you've been quiet. You've been patient. We'll start with you. We start. It's naughty or nice. So naughty comes first. Let's go. Who has made your naughty list for the first 30-ish games of the NBA season?
Yeah, so we're a little over the way, a third of the way through the season, and there's been one group of boys in the NBA who have been very, very naughty. Ethan,
I took it away.
big foot guy over here. But getting back focused, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I was told all offseason how the Knicks had nothing on Cleveland. Cleveland's the best team in the East. Cleveland's the favorites to win the East. They're a team to watch out for. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley's going to take another lead. No, that's a playing team. If you look at their numbers compared to last year, I mean, they had, like the best offense of all time last year. Their offensive rating has dropped by nearly 5 points. Their defensive rating has dropped by 2 points. That's like overall like a 7-point gap between where they were this year and last year. I mean, it's the Donovan Mitchell show. This dude's having to put up 20-point fourth quarters for them to win games. They're going down to crunch time with bad teams. Even some of the wins they've been getting have been against bad teams. They played Charlotte last week, and they didn't score a single point in overtime. Yeah, that's a Charlotte team without, like, LaMelo Ball even playing. Really has been very disappointing this year. He was painted as this, like, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan type of two-way player. He's scared on offense. Garland has turned into a whole lot of nothing. Now you're getting rumors about teams like Sacramento reaching out about him, Cleveland needing to blow this up. But with all these second apron restrictions they're under, it's very, very difficult for them to make a move. Chances are they're going to have to stick with this roster. Maybe you get a Kenny. I'm hearing this from smart, like, NBA minds that I respect, like Zach Lowe, who are saying, like, they got to get their act together or they're going to get embarrassed on national TV. I know I don't personally endorse gambling, but the spread is 5.5 on that game. Do not be surprised if that turns into a 20-point blowout. Maybe I'm a little biased, but the way Cleveland's been playing and the way Garland has been so poor on both ends, he hasn't shot 50% or better in a single game this year. The way Mobley is, I mean, Mobley's out right now,
Mobley
too.
is out for, I think, probably another 2 to 3 weeks with a calf strain, which are probably the two most fearful words in sports prior to what comes, unfortunately, after a calf strain for some of these athletes, which is Achilles tear.
Yeah, I
Continue.
mean, teams are being very cautious with calf strains right now. You're not going to rush your eye back from that. That's going to hurt them even more. Allen, who was one of those bright young centers, at least a floor raiser, has had a pretty rough year. It really has been Donovan Mitchell and nothing else. And I mean, again, it's hard for them to make moves, but since the moment he's gotten there have been rumors about Donovan Mitchell wanting to leave. And I know he signed an extension, but we've seen time and time again with these NBA players that contracts don't mean much in terms of requesting a trade. But if the season continues this way, they're going to be so naughty that besides a lump of coal, they may have their best player trying to leave and go join up in, a team like Detroit or something like that. So
Two things that I want to just kind of piggyback off that. Number one, this is a more minor point. It's such a Sacramento Kings move to like be looking into Darius Garland. That's number one. That's like the same way that the Colts for several years just put all their chips into like the aging quarterback bag, whether that be Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, which I guess they're doing again, and Matt Ryan was the other guy. That's such a Sacramento Kings move to go after Darius Garland at this stage. The second thing, I saw this report this morning on X, because as I mentioned before, X/Twitter, I'm addicted. It is what it is. I saw the report that said Donovan Mitchell's choice for interim head coach, if Kenny Atkinson were to be fired, would be Johnny Bryant.
Yeah, that checks out.
I don't necessarily care who his choice would be, but just the fact that that conversation has emerged as a possibility, I think gives even further validity to Ben's point about a potential speculation on an Atkinson scapegoat situation. So I just think it's a wild situation the way it's turning out. I'm hopeful that you're right. I hope we do blow him out by 20 for Christmas. That would just take what should be a great day with family and friends and make it a better day. I feel like they're going to play us very, very tough on national television.
I feel like Donovan Mitchell will play us tough on national television. I'm not scared of a single other player on that roster, though. Like, and that's the thing. He's been going for 40, 50. He could do that on Christmas, and they're still losing those games. Like that. That's the real issue. Like an All NBA first team level season, even with that,
Yeah, they're
not succeeding.
not doing much. All right, Ethan, your naughty list.
Yeah, so mine wasn't actually NBA. Mine was fantasy football. And my naughty list is a guy who's been on the naughty list all damn season long. Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last year finished as wide receiver 4 as a rookie. This year, nowhere to be found. He missed a couple games due to hamstring injury. His best game this year was 90 yards, and he's only done that once. And he had a season worst game this year with 2 catches, 18 yards, while the rest of the offense cooked. So Brian Thomas has definitely made my naughty list this season. Brandon,
All right.
who you got?
So looking at my naughty list, I got a couple of guys sitting here right at the top. I thought it would be, I went NHL. I thought it would be a little bit too easy to go with the league leaders in penalty minutes, because that's kind of an obvious one to go with on the naughty list, in which case it would have been Nikita Zadorov. What's up, Ben?
How's my boy Rempe doing on that front? Is he beating up dudes?
He is beating up dudes, and he was kind of in the conversation. I also looked at guys who had the most fights, but unfortunately the NHL does not track fights as an individual stat. You got to go to some third-party sources. A little bit more difficult to track down statistics in terms of number of fights in a season. But I said to myself, who's the guy, who's the bully at recess, who's running around just hitting people? Right? Who's running around beating guys up? And so I took a look at the hits leaders for the NHL this year, and that currently falls to Yakov Trenin. He is number 1 on my naughty list. 182 hits so far this year, and runner-up right now, I got Kiefer Sherwood with 164. The two of them are top of my naughty list. They are absolutely blowing guys away. The next closest is about 40 hits behind each of them. They are just absolutely brutal to play against. So couple of guys who you definitely don't want to see on the ice across from you, because they are going to lay you.
We get to transition to my naughty list.
Yeah.
All right, so for my naughty list, I actually originally had Trae Young down because Trae Young has been out with for the past month and change, and the Atlanta Hawks have been experiencing more success with him off the floor than with him on the floor. But I decided not to ultimately go with him. I kind of changed my mind at the last second in light of what occurred last night. And Draymond Green is going to make my naughty list. Video surfaced of him and Steve Kerr getting into a verbal altercation on the sideline during a timeout last night. It ultimately ended with Green storming into the locker room like a child. Mind you, this man is, I think he's probably 34 at this point. He was drafted in 2011, so he's a 15-year vet in the league, okay? And he should be leading some of these young guys through, their ups and downs. The Warriors have had a roller coaster season this year. He's 35 years old. Ben's pointing this out to me, and he's still doing the same childish crap that we saw from him back when he was a 5th or 6th year player. I've never personally been a huge Draymond fan. I think he's a great player, but I think he fails to acknowledge that he won all 4 of his rings on the backs of two of the greatest shooters to ever live, and then plus Kevin Durant for the 17 and 18 season. I think he fails to acknowledge that the way he should. So I've never been a big Draymond fan. Both him and Kerr kind of swept it under the rug. They addressed it, but they kind of swept it under the rug in post-game press conference last night, basically saying that, had Draymond, rejoined the bench, Kerr wasn't going to go back to him in the 4th. I guess that's the right thing to say. But to kind of quit on your team like that through a really tough season. It's like, and this is the same guy, mind you, that has come out and said, like, the year that Clay and Steph both got injured and the Warriors only won like 20 games, he's like, I didn't even want to play basketball that year, which is really frustrating to hear, from a guy who, again, had experienced a ton of success in winning, to not want to be a leader through a tough time when, some of your other leaders and veterans are out. I just don't think he's a very good person, to be quite honest. He flaps his gums too much. Good basketball player, really good defender, but overrated nonetheless. So he's going to make my naughty list for not only last night, but just other crap that I've seen him put forth throughout a majority of his career.
What are the 3 worst moments of Draymond Green's career? The dome.
Off the dome, kicking Steven Adams in the crotch has to be one of them.
Mm.
Punching Jordan
Cat
Poole.
last year, that was
Yeah.
ugly stuff, just like ugly
Yeah.
personality coming out.
Yeah. So, well, first, Ethan, I agree, punching Jordan Poole. And then, like you just said, Ben, last year he made some. And listen, you can say what you want about Karl Anthony Towns, call him soft, call him this, call him that. Cat missed a Warriors game because a very close family friend of his passed away and he was grieving.
Yeah, it was his girlfriend's mom.
Yeah, is that
girlfriend's grandma, girlfriend's mom.
Yeah, it was someone very close to Cat, and you could tell it really hurt him. And like, these guys are human, and Green made some really insensitive comments about how he was like scared to play him or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, know the facts before you flap your gums. He never does. He jumps to conclusions. I guess that's kind of what makes his soundbite so good and makes him must see TV. But I don't know. There's some humanity I think that needs to come forth for that. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. Let's go ahead and transition to our nice lists. Brandon.
Yeah, so my nice list is a guy who's really come out of nowhere to some extent and is having himself a very, very nice year. Very much well deserved. And that would be Boston Bruins winger Morgan Geekie. Guy went undrafted in his first draft eligible year in 2016. Finally gets taken in the 3rd round in 2017 as an overager. Doesn't really do a whole lot for Carolina off of that and gets selected by Seattle in the expansion draft. Goes to Seattle, plays 2 full seasons there, barely does anything, has 50 points over 2 seasons, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not that much. And then winds up signing with the Bruins in free agency. And now he is 2nd in the NHL in goals scored with 25 behind only Nathan McKinnon this year. He's been really good for the Bruins, just a goal-scoring machine across from David Pastrnak on their top line. Just, you can't ask for a better story. You can't ask for a better score. He's just been a fantastic player this year, and love to see him keep it up. He's definitely on my nice list.
Good stuff, Brandon. Appreciate it again. Wish I could contribute a little bit more. We need I need to get Uncle Mike on this show so he can talk a little bit more hockey with you, so it can be a little more back and forth. I think he'd enjoy that a lot. So I feel bad that we can't contribute more, but nonetheless, we love having you on here as our resident
Push the button.
hockey head. What?
Push the button.
Push the button and get the ticket. Which, Ethan, let's go to your nice list.
Yeah, my nice list is a combination of 2 guys, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Trey McBride, both number 1 at their positions in fantasy this season.
No. Because I went 11-2 this year with Trey McBride. Not only 11-2 1 seed, most points for in my league. Get the bye week, which is when Trey McBride's like, oh yeah, I'll put up 40. Come back for my first playoff game.
You just didn't have the surrounding.
It happens to the best of us. We can't always perform in the big moments.
Really,
It's okay sometimes.
He got outscored, but yeah.
Pags will remember McBride had the game of his life last year in championship week.
And I still could have overcame that. But you know who else scored 2 touchdowns that week? Brandon, do you know?
Higgins.
Brandon, are you aware of who scored 2 touchdowns against me in the finals last year?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh,
Yep. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you.
you're welcome.
Continue.
Happy to help.
You're the worst.
He
You
was
can
my
continue.
naughty list. Yeah, so my nice list, though, Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver 1 this season, continues to have game after game after game, 90-plus yards. He only had that 1 stinker of 20 yards. Other than that, he's been superb. I think his prior low to that was 83 yards. Leads the NFL in receiving yards, has double-digit touchdowns. Trey McBride, reception monster. Ben, I'm sorry for your loss, but
Well, no one
onwards we
died. It
go.
was a fantasy football game. But yeah, it was pretty bad. His defense and kicker combined for 33.
No. Did he have the Saints defense?
Yeah. Ah, I was a grumpy guy in the car. I had a long night Saturday. Sunday was a tough day.
Listen, like Brandon said, it does happen to the best of us, unfortunately. Not everybody can be like Ethan this year. Has a chance to win 3 of his 5 dynasty leagues. Hats off to you. You've put together a pretty good run. I cannot stress enough how much I'm rooting for Nick to beat you this coming
Oh,
weekend.
Nick is a great dude. Does he listen to this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a consistent listener.
Yeah, Ethan, I mean, I've never done an escape room with you. I have done an escape room with Nick.
That's a fact.
So, you know.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, we should do a potential experts escape room. We should record in an.
I'm down. Let's do this. This is a great idea.
Saturday.
Yep. So my nice list. I'll go first and then I'll kick it to you, Ben. I was actually surprised that this is the guy I landed on, but I've noticed that there's a particular player, I'm talking NBA now, who's been putting up very impressive numbers after having what I would consider a little bit of a slower start to the season than I think a lot of people expected him. I'm talking about Cooper Flag. I
Mm,
think Cooper Flag was outshined a little bit by rookies such as VJ Edgecombe, who was putting up super flashy numbers, by his college teammate Con Knipple, who, by the way, is the real deal. I think not the why I say the Warriors, sorry, excuse me, the Hornets found themselves an absolute stud in Knipple.
you said the Warriors because he's the next Clay Thompson.
True, dude, he's a sniper. But Cooper Flag is over the course of his last 10 games, has been averaging over 24 points per game, has been the Mavericks' #1 option, even with a healthy Anthony Davis. Well, you can debate whether or not Davis actually is healthy or not, but still healthy enough. He's been their #1 option, Cooper Flag has. And I've just been really, really impressed after a rather lackluster start to the year. I think people expected him to kind of take the NBA by storm. The Mavs got off to a tough start. I think a lot of stuff wasn't going well for them with the AD injury. Cooper Flag, again, off to a slow start. And since then, some stuff is turning around. I wouldn't go as far as saying I like the Mavs to end up being a playoff team, like win a play-in game or anything, because I still think there's too much going on, especially we kind of expect them to trade Anthony Davis by the deadline.
Mhm.
But again, this is not necessarily about the Mavericks. It's about, I think, Cooper Flag's growth over the course of these first 30 games. He's the real deal, and I really enjoy watching him.
And keep in mind, not only is he a rookie, but he is a young rookie.
He is reclassed, so he was in college at the age of 17, his freshman year at Duke.
Yeah, and at the start of the year when he was struggling, kid was running him at point guard. I've seen some conspiracy theorists out there saying that that kid was doing that to start the year to get Nico out of town, have the rough start, bad vibes, get Nico gone. Because once Nico was fired, Flag was switched to that forward position where he naturally does play. You get Ryan Nemhart, Andrew Nemhart's little brother out there, is another really good undrafted rookie who was a good point guard, can facilitate, can get Flag the ball in his spots. And like you said, I mean, he's really having a good stretch right now. Obviously, the defense is already there. He's showing more stuff, more juice with the ball on the offensive side. And again, he's definitely a unique player type. But I think if you go watch a WNBA game when the season comes back, watch the New York Liberty, see how Brianna Stewart kind of takes over a game, how she is so dominant. I think that's the path that Cooper Flag can take. Obviously, as like a male version of that in the NBA. I think that's his route.
Man, we are such an awesome national podcast. We even shout out the WNBA today, Ben. That's
The W.
the W. That's such a good job.
Sports podcast.
National
Everybody watches
Sports.
women's
Yeah,
sports.
I know we're
We're getting international soon too. World Baseball Classic, World Cup coming up. It's gonna be 2026. Great sports year inbound. I'm very excited.
Can't wait for the World
the
Cup.
Olympics.
You actually just reminded me.
Don't forget the Olympics, the hockey Olympics. That's going to be sick. We're going to have a lot of great stuff to talk about.
Not only that, but also if you're a starved for sports, all right. I know that this is really niche and we probably don't have a lot of fans who are gonna know about this, but the under 20 World Junior Championships are gonna be happening over the next week or so. Usually happens this time of year around Christmas and New Year's. The best prospects for the NHL from the entire world that are under 20, all getting together playing in an international tournament, one of the best ones of the year. Highly encourage you to go watch that if you can.
Bless you.
Then the mic caught that. I tried to make that not happen. Whatever.
It's okay. I've seen this before. It's happened to me.
Yeah, that happens to the best. Like I said, I apologize. I'm a little under the weather. I'm doing my best out here. But you know what? The injury report listed me as probable. Ethan was questionable, actually. But flakiness. Ben, your nice list.
All right. I kind of cheated. I mean, it's Christmas. It's a good time of the year, time to be happy. So I had two different nice list contributions. This one we're going selfish, Ben. New York Knicks, nice list.
Hell yeah. Oh, that was terrible. There we go.
2025, 2026 New York Knicks. Whether it be Mitchell Robinson shooting 10 of 11 from the free throw line in his last 11 attempts, doubling his percentage on the year over the weekend. Whether it be Jalen Brunson somehow taking another leap and headed on his way to an All NBA first team season, in my humble opinion, whether it be Mike Brown revamping the offense, taking a starting lineup that struggled last year, was barely in the positive in their net rating, and bringing them into one of the best lineups in the league. My boys have been killing it across the board. I could say nice things about everyone. I was telling Ben the other week, I'm born in 2002. The Knicks won their first playoff series of my life when I was in fourth grade, and didn't make it back to the playoffs until Thibodeau's first year, when I was a freshman in college. So I went through all of middle school and high school with a lot of, it's still not great, Ethan, with a lot of turmoil in my Knicks fandom. And there's about 8 or 9 guys on this current team who would have been far and away my favorite Knick on any of those rosters throughout the 2010s. So those boys get a nice addition to the nice list. Getting a little less biased here, but still going off of something I witnessed the other night. Andre Drummond, just showing us that you can always get better. He's a veteran. He's been in the league for well over a decade. He made his last All-Star team over a decade ago. One-time All-Star, Andre Drummond. But this dude's added a corner three-point shot to his bag. He's not taking a lot of them, but he's shooting 42% from three on the year, nearly 2 attempts a game. The other night against New York, I think he went 3 for 4 from three. Really makes you think about a guy like Ben Simmons, who is fishing now, officially. Oh, officially. But Drummond deserves a nice spot on the nice list for just trying to get better, succeeding in doing that. Philly's a really fun team. Obviously, as a New York guy, I'm not a huge Philly fan, but when it puts Drummond out there spacing the floor for guys like Maxey and Edgecombe who attack the basket, it's a really nice development to his game. He still brings the rebounding. He still hustles on defense. So I just shout out to Andre Drummond. Maybe get him like a little like snorkel or something because he's one that thing. You know what I'm saying? So Andre Drummond, nice list for 2025.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As pissed off as I was watching that the other night because he hit his first three. Think I texted you like, "Was yours going to lose tonight because of Andre
And his
Drummond?"
second three and his third three.
Brandon, I have a question for you. Ethan and I were talking about this yesterday. I talked to Ben about this. I don't want to give any sway you in any way.
I think I know where this is going. Ethan mentioned something to me before we started recording.
Is Rudolph a system reindeer?
Rudolph is absolutely a system reindeer.
Thank
And
you.
I say that because you look at the skill set, right? What other offensive system, right? We're gonna say it's the offense because in this case, you're moving forward, you're trying to move the ball down the field as fast as possible, right? What other team would you need a blinking red nose on to be effective? I'm not saying I'm not saying you can't be successful because of it. I'm not going that direction, but it's an additional thing that you have, another tool in the bag that you're never going to use in any other situation. So I absolutely say that definitely a system reindeer.
Ethan went as far as
Dasher and
saying that
Blitzen is obvious, honestly, like as good of a duo as Kobe and Shaq. Dasher and Blitzen.
Why? Why those two? Why did you pick those two?
Fine, McDavid and Draisaitl. There you go.
No, the deer.
Or you know what? I'll take it back. We'll go Gretzky and
hey, I don't care about the
Messier.
athlete comparison. I'm talking about the reindeer. Why'd you pick the reindeer?
Yeah, why'd you pick Dasher and Blitz?
Dasher's the first one mentioned, so he's the number one option. And Blitzen's just got the coolest name, so he's the number 2.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, Shaq and Kobe weren't getting stopped by fog the way Dasher and Blitzen were getting stopped by fog. Okay, I understand it's a niche thing, but Rudolph brings an essential element to the team. You're telling me Santa's going all over the world. You're telling me there's not going to be fog somewhere? That it's not going to come up at some point?
You know what? You know what though? At the end of the day, they pulled that sled for how many years? No problem. And all of a sudden, this one year they need Rudolph to come in. That was an established team that they just put Rudolph in, plug and play, and he got them to another title. Again,
They couldn't
the
have plugged
team
and played
was
anyone
already
else, though.
really solid.
They couldn't have plugged and played anybody else. It was simply the nose.
Would you say Kevin Durant is a system player?
No, I wouldn't. But again, they were capable of winning a title without him. You don't need him.
Listen, if Christmas started 2025 years ago, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that was written in like the 1930s, so There's about like a almost
Christmas did
2-century
not start 2000
span there, or
Yeah,
two
almost 2,000 years.
2,000 year span that Rudolph wasn't on the team. So I don't know. Plenty of deliveries from Santa.
Listen,
System
we
reindeer.
got Ben going behind the scenes as almost a byproduct producer. I'm doing a little research. I think we're going to end up putting this on the potential experts Instagram. Is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer a system reindeer or not? Did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah, I don't really like it, so I'm just gonna say something different. Christmas has only been around.
No. Now you're just hiding the facts. This is a cover up.
Yeah,
This is a
is America.
conspiracy.
That's kind of what we do.
Ethan and I are right, and you just don't want to own up to it.
All right, the first recorded Christmas that celebrated the birth of Jesus is often cited as 8336. All right, and I'll tell you what. When was the Rudolph? Oh, when was the reindeer mythos created? This is, international holiday podcast.
This is honestly some elite ball knowledge. I hope our listeners are feeling really enthused about this before we get to Christmas wishes. I really hope you guys aren't fast
Oh,
forwarding.
interesting. Because actually, reindeers weren't a part of Christmas lore until the famous character Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was created in America in 1939 by Robert L. Met, a copywriter from Montgomery Ward, as a promotional booklet for the department store, becoming an iconic part of American Christmas lore. All right, while real reindeer have long existed in North America, Rudolph's story emerged from the specific marketing effort later popularized by the 1949 song. Well, since the dawn
I have to ask.
since the dawn of reindeers being involved in this whole Santa operation, they
Was that AI?
Rudolph.
Santa created though because Santa
Was that AI?
still
No, that's from the,
those presents
the
before.
Smithsonian Institution. .edu.
Okay.
Ethan, what were you saying?
Okay.
When was Santa introduced? Because he had to do all the heavy lifting by himself then.
I'm not arguing Rudolph is better than Santa. That's not the argument here. Santa's more of a coach than anything. I mean, Greg Popovich was alive long before Tim Duncan was drafted.
He does bring a valid argument with the Santa thing. I gotta side with him on that.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think we won that debate. All right, ladies and
No,
gentlemen,
no.
ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and move
What
on
did
to
the AI say?
what's up.
What did the AI say about it?
I don't know. I prefer to read from humans and not waste gallons of water, so I have a Gemini turned off on my Google search.
Got you there.
Respect.
Christmas wish.
Yeah, my Christmas wish comes from club soccer, and it's for Chelsea Football Club to sign a center back. They lost their best center back, Levi Colwell, this year to an injury right away, ACL injury in preseason camp. He's out for the year. Trevor Chalaba's done great, but he needs another half. There are great center backs on the market, whether it be Joel Hernandez from Club Brugge in Belgium or Nico Schlotterbach, a German from Borussia Dortmund. Alessandro Bastoni, a great Italian defender from Inter Milan, also may be available in the transfer market. January window opens in just about a week. It would be great for the Chelsea to solidify that back line.
All right, big Chelsea fan here. Wishing for Chelsea's back line to be solidified. There we go. I don't have anything.
How's Florian Wirtz doing in the Premier League?
Not great. Kind of a overpay right now, but it's an adjustment period.
I got a
Liverpool
quick-
hasn't had a good season.
Can I get a quick soccer tangent question? I don't know. Sorry, I was traveling. I didn't listen to the last two episodes, really. How is America's draw in the World Cup? I feel like it looks pretty favorable, no?
I would say so. This is the most talent America has ever had going into a World Cup as far as players playing over in Europe for really good teams. It does look favorable. Australia is probably the biggest adversary in that list, and Australia doesn't really have like a whole lot of well-known players. They just are cohesively a good unit. But that being said, yeah, I do think the U.S. has a really good chance to finish top of this group. The World Cup is expanded, so we're seeing a lot of smaller countries get in that haven't before. Shout out like Curacao, small nation in the Caribbean. But granted, a lot of those players are Dutch with like Curacao nationality, but still cool for small nations like that to get in.
Well, who should our listeners, besides Christian Pulisic, who should they be looking for on this American team upcoming?
Yeah, I think Malik Tillman, 23 years old from Bayer Leverkusen in Germany, center attacking mid, phenomenal player. His first year in Germany, he was over in the Netherlands for the past couple of years, PSV Eindhoven, which he helped them win a couple Dutch titles. Phenomenal scorer, great assist man. He'll play behind the striker. Great number 10. Really fits in Mauricio Pochettino's system of 4-2-3-1, which has a number 10, a guy who kind of shadows this striker and can play off to the wingers. So Malik Tillman of Bayer Leverkusen, I'd say, is a player to watch.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. All right, Brandon, your Christmas wish.
So I'm going to ask for one Pags that I think you will also want in on this. I'm asking Santa for a double order of this because you're gonna want some too. And I am simply asking for a box full of bubble wrap for my quarterback, Jaden Daniels. And I think you might want some for Jackson Dart too, the way he's been playing lately. Simply just basically I want a healthy year from him next year so we can kind of see what we really have at quarterback. I think everyone kind of knows everyone knows what he's capable of now. He's one offensive rookie of the year, but it's a matter of just like, hey, let's stay healthy. Let's stay on the field. Let's put that on the field every week in, week out. Let's win some ball games. So we can't do that with you on the sideline. Marcus Mariota, great backup quarterback, but he's a backup for a reason, right? We want you out there, not Marcus. So let's get some bubble wrap for the 2026 season now, and let's wrap them up real tight. So, like I said, Pags, if you want some for Jackson Dart, I'd be happy to give you some. Sure, share a little bit in the holiday spirit, you know.
Brandon, I'm gonna give you a stat. I just want you to.
It's short for statistic.
Thank you.
Why do I feel like this is rage bait once again? Because you've been giving it to me every episode.
Stat. There's no numbers never lie, Brandon. I am going to tell you 23-7. Do you know what that stat means? It's obviously a record. Do you know what that record means?
Part of me internally, I want to say that's the Washington Commanders record when Jaden Daniels starts and finishes a game.
It is not. Has nothing to do with Jaden Daniels. Get out of your own little world. There's more people than you that exist in the world.
Sorry, I'm rolling with the conversation here, what we're actively talking about.
We're talking about the stat.
Well, yeah, I got that now.
Do you want another guess, or would you like to know what it is?
You can hit it.
It is the combined record of Drake May and Caleb Williams this year. So I ask once again, is selecting Jaden Daniels over Drake May and in conjunction not trading up for Caleb Williams, is that a fireable offense?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I present Exhibit A.
Which is?
This is rage bait.
I don't agree.
I don't agree. I mean, did you see what Drake May did down in the fourth quarter in Baltimore?
Yeah, and his second half against Buffalo, that was tough, man.
Jaden Daniels doesn't even know what a fourth quarter is. He's injured by the beginning of the third.
Second half in Buffalo was not great, but the defense couldn't get a stop either.
Yeah.
But you're right. He didn't show up in that moment, but they got rid of the ghosts 1 week later, so it's all right.
All right, I'm going to go with my Christmas wish. I'm going to keep mine super simple. I'm going to wish for the Las Vegas Raiders to get a big win this weekend. Pags, why do you care about the Las Vegas Raiders? The New York Giants and the Las Vegas Raiders are playing each other this weekend. Pags, why do you want the Raiders to win? You're a Giant fan. Well, those two teams currently hold the number 1 and number 2 picks in the NFL draft. The Giants do hold the number 1 pick, but it's not going to matter after this week because the loser of this game is in a very, very, very good position to clinch the number 1 overall pick. And I'm dreaming as a Giant fan of the Giants having the number 1 overall pick and then trading it to a team like the New York Jets, who send the Giants the 1-0, whatever they have, so let's call it like the 105, future first, and like maybe their third this year, to go up and select Indiana quarterback, Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza. I'm not saying Mendoza's not going to be good. I'm sure he'll be a very quality player in the league. But the fact that the Giants could possibly own the New York Jets' future first-round pick is magical to me. So I really need them to secure the number 1 overall pick so that they can fleece some team to trading up for a quarterback, because I agree with Brandon to an extent. Dart needs to stay healthy, so maybe some bubble wrap would be good. But I do like to think as of right now, he's the guy. We certainly would not be targeting a quarterback this draft, so might as well instead of bidding more and make some team trade up with us.
I think they would get more than what you mentioned.
I would hope. I just don't think any team would be so sold on Mendoza.
But look what Bryce Young got, the Chicago Bears. And Bryce Young was a good quarterback, but nobody was saying he was going to be generational.
No, but I think Bryce Young, also
Heisman.
Bryce Young, just coming from Alabama, he'd been touted for a few years. I think there was more excitement surrounding Bryce Young coming out of college than there was Fernando Mendoza.
That's fair.
Ben, to you, your Christmas wish.
Yeah, I wish that Brian Cashman would wake up. I'm kind of new to this baseball thing. I grew up as a Knicks fan, where, as I mentioned earlier, it's been a lot of turmoil. And I thought, a couple of years ago, it might be nice to root for the bad guys, to root for the Empire, root for the team with 27 rings. That's just always winning, spends the most money, gets the best players. I guess that's not a thing anymore though, because that's the Dodgers and the Yankees. Like a lot of teams now, just I don't know, they're just playing it safe. What's his name? What's the owner?
Steinbrenner?
Steinbrenner's not dropping mad cash on this roster. I mean, I guess we're waiting on the belly thing, but we need pitching, starting and bullpen. We need a different shortstop than Anthony Volpe. We do need an outfielder. I'm not asking for anything crazy, but just like, I don't know, you're the Yankees. Go get Kyle Tucker, get Steven Kwan, get Paul Skeens, and sign Eddie my dude, and then I'll probably be happy. That's what I was told being a Yankees fan would be like, and I guess I was lied to.
You were.
So I don't know. That's what I would like to happen. Is for Brian Cashman to wake up and do something. Hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, he's done all four of those things. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, if you can do that in a matter of a few days.
And who did you say they were waiting on? Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
I have a bad feeling Bellinger's gonna go across town for the Mets.
they love our leftovers there.
They do. Devin Williams, Luke Weaver,
Hmm.
Juan Soto. We didn't even want him.
Clay Holmes.
Oh, I forgot about Holmes.
Um,
Todd Frazier.
Dylan Betances.
Dylan Matan. Good call, Lee.
Robinson Cano.
Yeah, yeah. Years later, but yeah, absolutely.
All knowledge.
Look at us. Look at us. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we're gonna save our All-Star talk for the upcoming week. The New York Knicks have a little punt game tonight. The boys got to watch. Got a little sushi waiting upstairs too. Uh,
Brandon, Tags picks. You know what to do.
Pags Picks is a podcast segment created solely for entertainment and informational purposes. The content shared during the segment does not constitute betting advice or financial recommendations. Any wagers placed based on the opinions or commentary expressed in Pags Picks are made at the sole discretion and risk of the listener. Cast hosts and creators of Pags Picks are not liable for any losses or damages resulting from betting activities. You must be 21 years of age or older to participate. Pags, take it away.
Yeah, so for my pick this week, first of all, I won last week. Yeah, I picked the Bears. I picked the Bears to beat the Packers. Pretty miracle comeback, but it slapped. So there we go. I had also the week prior picked the Patriots and miracle comeback in the wrong way for my pick. So whatever, kind of what goes around comes around. So I'll take the split. For my pick this week, I'm gonna go. I'm looking at the Eagles Bills game, and the Eagles are on the road, and they are underdogs by 1.5. I'm gonna tell you to take the Eagles plus 1.5. And if you're feeling a little gutsy, my ultimate pick, like the official stamp that I'm putting on it, is gonna be Eagles money line, currently sitting at plus 102. So I'm gonna take that, book it, gentlemen. Anything else to talk about this evening? I'm seeing head shaking. No, I think it is. What's up, B?
Like I said, just IHF World Juniors under 20 top hockey players in the world. USA two-time defending champs. Let's go get it. Run it back. One more. Go for the three-peat.
Everyone's
Make sure you
searching for
watch.
televisions right now to turn it on.
I know it's fantastic.
All right, boys. Seriously, wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa again, whatever you might celebrate. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. Spread the word. As Ethan said last week, he was really into telling your grandmother, so tell your grandma, I guess, but don't just limit it to your grandmother's aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins.
I mean, you're probably seeing
Tell
1 million friends this week. Christmas.
tell
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah, tell everybody at the Christmas dinner table.
Oh, at New Year's party?
All right. Also, I'm not gonna shout out the specific students, because I'm not gonna name my students on here, but my 8th grader who is DMing our potential experts account and asking for our social security numbers. I already put you on blast in front of our class. Stop doing that.
I don't even know mine. So what are you gonna get?
You don't know your social security
You're
number?
actually not. That's a wild. That's wild. Alrighty, we've been stalling enough. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you. We love you. Spread the word. Peace.